Attention passionate Seattle Seahawks fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC West and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Seattle Seahawks' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Seattle Seahawks fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Seattle SEAHAWKS fans. Let's get to the news, so guys, let's talk about something that's been buzzing around the NFL circles lately. There's some serious speculation about a potential blockbuster trade involving Will Anderson Jr. from the Houston Texans and the Seattle Seahawks. Now, I know what you're thinking. Are the Seahawks really in the mix for such a high-profile edge rusher? And the answer might surprise you. Rumors, fueled by insiders like Diana Rossini, suggest that the Texans, who are sitting at 8-6 and dealing with a tight cap situation, about $25 million in 2026, according to SpotTrack, are considering moving Anderson. And if that happens, it could be a game-changer for Seattle. The Texans are reportedly eyeing multiple second-round picks in exchange, with their focus being on bolstering their offensive line, which is a bit of a weakness right now. Meanwhile, the Seahawks are pushing hard to elevate their pass rush, especially as they chase a playoff spot that now looks more attainable than ever at 10-3. Anderson, just 24 years old, is a speed rusher extraordinaire. Last year in 2025, he racked up 5 sacks, 36 quarterback hits, and 13 tackles for loss. His PFF grade last season was an elite 92, one with a pressure rate of 25%, which is among the best in the league. On top of that, his EPA per rush was plus 0.31, showing how effective he's been when rushing the passer. His run-stop win rate is 49%, and he has forced 5 fumbles, plus a bend rate of 33%, meaning he can get around blockers with ease. In terms of career stats, Anderson has over 38 sacks so far, and he earned the Defensive Rookie of the Year award in 2023. He's been selected to 3 Pro Bowls already, and even with a knee injury that caused him to miss 1 game, he still averaged 19 sacks per game with a double-team rate of 55%. Basically, he's a predator on the field, a guy who reminds a lot of Chase Young during his time with Washington back in 2020, especially with his spin move that scored a PFF grade of 91. For last season, looking at the Texans, their defense is ranked 9th in the league, giving up around 20 points per game, which is pretty solid. But they're losing their disruptor, Will Anderson Jr., and that's a big blow. Their sack numbers have dropped by 23% this season, and their Super Bowl odds have shifted from plus 500 to plus 1,000, reflecting some concern about their ability to keep up with the top-tier teams. They're in a bit of a rebuild, trying to find the right pieces for their future, especially with questions surrounding their quarterback, C.J. Stroud, and a secondary that's a bit suspect, with a PFF grade of 63. It's clear they need to get draft picks, and Anderson could fetch a hefty haul, probably 2 second-rounders. Now that's where things get spicy for the Seahawks. Seattle is already sitting at 10-3, and their front 7 has been a strength, but bringing in a player like Anderson would take their pass rush to a whole new level. They're currently generating around 50 sacks as a team, but with Anderson, projections suggest they could hit 65 or more. Imagine the impact. His ability to generate pressure, combined with the talents of Boy Mafe and others, would turn their defense into a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. Anderson's pressure rate of 25% surpasses Mafe's 17%, and adding his plus 14 tackles for loss and increased EPA per play would create chaos in the backfield. This kind of relentless pressure would make life miserable for offenses and make the Seahawks secondary even more dangerous, especially with the added chaos up front forcing hurried throws and turnovers. The Seahawks defense has been playing well, but the addition of Anderson would be a massive boost, especially considering their recent moves. Remember when they traded for Montez Sweat last year? That move increased their win probability by around 15%, and Anderson's arrival could do even more. The Seahawks secondary, which has been pretty opportunistic and aggressive, would benefit enormously from the pressure Anderson brings. Their projected 13 more interceptions this season could turn into even more if they get that extra push up front. Offensively, the Seahawks are doing their part, but they could always use a little more help to punch through in tight games. With their current points per game averaging within the high 20s, adding elite pass rush help like Anderson could be the missing piece to help them push even further in the postseason. If they can get him, it would be a clear message to the rest of the league that Seattle is all in on a Super Bowl run. And if you're wondering about the bigger picture, the latest Super Bowl odds have shifted in their favor, from plus 400 to plus 180. That's a big jump, and it shows how much the betting community believes in the Seahawks' potential this year. They're now considered about a 22% contender in the NFC West, a division that's been tough with teams like the 49ers and Rams, but one that the Seahawks could dominate more with a few strategic moves. And let's not forget, this isn't just about adding another talented player. It's about sending a message. The Seahawks are building a team that can contend for multiple seasons, and bringing in a young star like Anderson not only bolsters their defense, but also cements their reputation as a franchise that's willing to go all in. It echoes the kind of moves that helped them win their Super Bowl titles back in the day, with a relentless pass rush that overwhelmed opponents. CenturyLink Field, or Lumen Field as it's called now, has always been a fortress for the Seahawks, and with Anderson, it could become even more intimidating for visiting teams. Looking at the bigger NFL picture, this potential trade also impacts the entire landscape of the NFC. The NFC West, in particular, would see a significant shakeup. The 49ers, who have built a dominant system, might face even more pressure from a Seahawks team that's adding more firepower on defense. Meanwhile, the Rams, still trying to find their rhythm, could fall back further if Seattle manages to add a player of Anderson's caliber. The Seahawks coaching staff, led by Pete Carroll, is known for maximizing talent and creating opportunistic defenses. Bringing in Anderson would be a testament to their commitment to winning now, and it would make their defense one of the most feared in the league. Now, I know some skeptics might say, well, can the Seahawks afford him? Will they give up too much in draft picks? That's always the question with these kinds of trades. But Seattle's front office has shown that they're willing to make bold moves if it means elevating the team. With their current draft capital and cap space, they could certainly maneuver to bring Anderson in, especially if the Texans are motivated to rebuild and accept a couple of second-rounders in exchange for a player who could be a franchise cornerstone for years to come. And the fans. We all know how much a pass rusher like Anderson electrifies the crowd. His ability to change the game with a single sack or a critical pressure play energizes the entire team and fanbase. Imagine the energy at Lumen Field if he suited up for the Seahawks. Everybody would be on their feet, roaring as he disrupts the offense. It's exactly the kind of move that could ignite a new era for the Seahawks defense, one that's aggressive, relentless, and championship caliber. In conclusion, this potential trade isn't just about adding a talented player. It's about shifting the entire narrative of the Seahawks season and beyond. Anderson's arrival could be the catalyst that pushes Seattle over the top, turning their solid defense into an elite unit that terrorizes offenses and creates turnovers. For the Texans, it's a rebuild move. Maybe they're just looking to stockpile draft picks and build for the future. But for Seattle, it's about going all in. It's about making a statement that they're here to compete, to dominate, and to chase that second Super Bowl trophy. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Seattle Seahawks news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Seattle Seahawks fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think the Seahawks should pull the trigger on a trade for Will Anderson Jr.? How would you feel about adding such a game-changing pass rusher to the roster? Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Seahawks. Remember, this season is shaping up to be one of the most exciting in recent memory, and moves like this could define the future of the franchise. I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for all the latest Seahawks news. Let's keep supporting our team, and as always, go Hawks!